Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mythic Legion's Reinforcements 2.0 Vampire Phalanx Legion Builder. Yes, this is not a 2.0, much like the Templar Relic Guard we took a look at yesterday. Check that out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. And of course, this is brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, and this is the next installment in my Road to LegionsCon series here on the channel. I'll be taking a look at this entire Reinforcements 2.0 wave in preparation for the upcoming event of LegionsCon that should be happening this weekend. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes well, you'll be able to pick up the figures I am looking at this week at said LegionsCon. LegionsCon 2023, for those of you watching this in 2024 and are like, hey, where the heck is this guy? You missed out, you waited too long. So, with that being said, cutting right to the chase, getting into the meat and taters of this review, let's look at the Vampire Phalanx's accessories, starting off with his alternate head, which is, I think, the original Vorgus Vermilius head. If I'm not mistaken, this head's also used on Sir Ignatius, Gorgo Aetherblade, the Deluxe Barbarian Builder Kit, the Colosseum Orc. I think Keltis has one of these. The Uncone one has one of these. A lot of figures use this head. I don't think it's the new version, but if it is, then it's only on Gorgo Aetherblade 2.0 at the moment, and will be used on Vorgus Vermilius the Blood Armor 2.0, which is the Day 1 LegionsCon exclusive. Kind of ties in with this character because is it commander or captain of the Phalanx is the one that confronts Lucretia, the leader of Lithia's brood, at least until Lithia comes back, that is, to don the blood armor and eventually gets consumed by it and horrifically dies. But a cool head sculpt. I think this works as like the rest of the Phalanx, while this, head with a face on it works as the main Phalanx commander that dons the blood armor. That said, he does come with a sword. This is the same sword that came with Baron Voliger 2.0, actually. Maybe a little different in the paint department, but the same sculpt. Careful about these little fellas on the side here. They could snap off if you're not careful. That said, he does also come with a shield. A very dinky little shield, by the way. This one actually has a removable handle. There were two of these included with the Aethon. Is that it? Aethon horse that came with Arathir. And the handles were fixed. But this one, the handle does come off. Doesn't appear to have any extra paint. I don't think these little baubles are painted silver, but if they are, I obviously can't tell. Sometimes I can tell, sometimes I can't. But I would have preferred the bigger shield. The Vampire Legion Builder, the female one, comes with one of those, so I might give him that instead. We'll see. And then he also comes with the Trident, which I think is a cool weapon as opposed to the same frickin' spear we've gotten a million times. It does have a removable end. Oh, wow, that was tight. But not nearly as tight as some of the Trident ends we've gotten. I will also tell you that this, the way this is packaged, you want to be careful. That's not a brain fart there. The way this is packaged, you want to be careful because they do pack the Trident end on it. It's not just the stick piece. So be careful when you're opening this guy. You don't want to snap one of the forks off. That said, taking a closer look at the Vampire Phalanx, he has two belts. Spoiled brat. He's got one around his torso here. I have that for the sword. And then he's got one on his side. I'm actually going to give Lucretia's daggers to this guy, I think. She came with two. Count them, two daggers. There's like a big, fat, chunky one, and then there's one in his sheath. I'm probably going to give those to him because he's got two loops here. I got to dig the other one out. But I did find one earlier. That said, look at this head sculpt, man. That's pretty cool, right? It's got the wings on the side, or whatever you want to call those, horns. They are removable. Go pop them out. I did have to crack these loose when I opened them too, so be careful. You don't want to snap those either. They're pretty hard plastic, all things considered, but again, don't break your toys. That's as far as articulation goes on this guy. His head can look up pretty well. He can tilt. He looks side to side. I will say his head has a tendency to pop off kind of easy, so be mindful of that. It does snap on there though, so I guess it's just how it's made. The Mask of the Red Death had a lot of wiggle room too, but his head didn't pop off nearly as easy. It just, I don't know, the way it hugs the ball there is probably a little different. It does have neck rotation. It's pretty much where you're going to get your head rotation. The shoulder pads do move to allow the arms to move forward and back. Up, down. He's got the elbow bend there with the elbow twist. The gauntlet swivel. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. I will say this hand on mine feels like it's not plugged in all the way, but whatever. Doesn't bug me too much as long as it's not falling out like the Furious 4 figures, right? I might heat that up and push that in. I don't know. I might pop it off, pop it back on, see if that works. It does have a ball in the waist. It does tilt side to side. It does have the rotation in the waist as well. And I will say, if you want to put this belt on, you have to take him apart in order to do that. At the waist, not just at the arms. It does not slip over the torso like the standard belts do. So be mindful of that. His hips kick forward and back. I will tell you, the hips on this wave have been gangbusters. A little wiggle room here and there, but not bad. They do kick out, back down. He's got a thigh cut, single knee, rotation underneath the knee, rotation at the foot with a hinge, as well as a rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So pretty standard. I guess we'll try and put this sword back here, which truth be told, and I'll talk about it more in my Shadow Orc review going up probably tomorrow, I had to guess. Be careful with some of the straps. I actually just snapped my first strap this very night, the night I am recording this. So I broke my code, man. I broke one of my toys. But luckily, it's the strap. I probably find someone on the Mythic Legions Cabal that's not utilizing the strap and get that fixed. But I got one for that figure, so we'll talk about that more tomorrow. But there he is with his sword on his back. I'm not going to give him the trident just because those are kind of a pain in the nuts. So he will have it in final thoughts, but for now, this is how he's going to stay. For the size comparisons, which we are going to move right along to and take a look at right now. First up, here is our Vampire Phalanx Legion Builder, alongside the first Vampire Legion Builder we ever got in the life of the Mythic Legions line, the Vampire Legion Builder. It's not even called the female Vampire Legion Builder, it's just called Vampire Legion Builder. She's off to the left, and then to the right we have Vorgus Vermilius, the Blood Armor 1.0, because again, the captain of the Phalanx, or commander, whatever you want to call it, is the one who dons the blood armor, which I can only assume looks like this at first, but will eventually look more like the 2.0 version that will be exclusive to Legions Con, at least for now. It'll be available later, but for now it will be a Legions Con exclusive. So there is that. And upon digging this figure's accessories out, I could not find the little spike that goes on her helmet. So I just settled for the purple plume I usually displayed her with because it's a little bit more interesting, I guess. Then there's a Grail figure for you. Sorry, Charlie, I'm keeping that. That'll probably be buried with me. That's one of my favorite Legions figures in the 1.0 era. Of course, this would not be one of my videos without Good old Brother Mandibulis. And the infamous Nkei 11 Spawn, whose toe joints have been problematic as of late, so maybe it's about time to retire that old dog and bring in something else that can stand up a little better. But there you go. There's a Vampire Phalanx with those two. So, with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and out of this entire Reinforcements 2.0 wave, gotta tell you, I think the good old Vampire Phalanx here is my favorite. Maybe-ish. Kinda. Sorta. I'm not sure. The Templar Knight was a pleasant surprise. The Shadow Orc's pretty cool. We're going to be taking a look at him tomorrow. And the Silverhorn Sentry is quite a surprising release. For me, anyways. I didn't have him already, so it's my first time with him. And I gotta tell you, he kind of exceeded my expectations. So I don't really know what my favorite figure in this wave is, but as far as looking forward to a certain particular figure, this was the one that I was most looking forward to. I really like the vampires. They're very low in numbers, so it's a very easy faction to acquire all the members of. That and a lot of the vampires are army builders. You got this guy, you got the female Legion builder, you got the Vampire Knight, you got the Varg. Those are army builders. If you want, you can use the Black Knights, because they do kind of match as far as the colors go. They are originally from Erethyr, I think. And I think they're just humans, but, you know, you could do some pops and swaps and whatnots and make them into vampires, you know. But yeah, I'd like to see some more vampires going forward, but this one's pretty cool. I like the head sculpt, I like the new wings. I know this isn't historically accurate to a Phalanx. I know they're supposed to stand in attention. That said, this figure isn't historically accurate to a Phalanx. The shield's wrong, the weapon's wrong. There's a lot of wrong, but you know what? Who gives a crap? It's a made-up universe that's pretty freaking awesome, if you ask me. So I think they're allowed to have some historical inaccuracies. That's my 2 cents in my story, and I'm sticking to it, because I don't care. I know a Phalanx shield should be like a long, kind of rectangular shape. Not rectangular. Yes, rectangular. And they should use a spear, but technically a trident is a spear with 3 tips on it, and last I checked, that'll do more damage than 1. So you know what? I think it qualifies. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.